I'm looking right now to take a peek, see if Congressman Don Davis has had a chance to join us yet.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
Hey, Congressman, how are you? Wonderful. All right.
Hey,
Well, I just
we're
wanted
doing
to make sure
wonderful.
I want to make sure you're on the call. Let me go ahead and introduce you a little more properly than that. Um, Congressman Davis, as I think everyone on this call knows, is Congressman in D.C. from District 1 from North Carolina. He's what we lovingly call a forward Democrat. He has signed our pledge, and for those that haven't had a chance, I'll be encouraging you all night to go to our website, to look at our pledge, to look at our values. And I think that'll really tell you a lot about the congressman. He's born and raised in North Carolina, a graduate of the United States Air Force Academy. Yeah, I could go on and on. His bio would take more than the hour that we have, but I think I can sum it up by saying it's really been a life of service. He's been committed to helping his community, and by signing that pledge, he joins elected officials across the country. I wanted to take a moment and point out that this isn't just happening in North Carolina. We have 54 elected officials across the country that have signed the pledge in 20 different states. We have 5 states that currently have ballot access. And as we'll talk about later tonight, we're fighting for ballot access here in the great state of North Carolina. But with no further ado, Congressman Davis, welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Hey, Patrick, it's so good to see you. See Barbara on and perhaps Andrew coming on and others. And oh, God, it's so good to be able to join in with Ford. Oh, God. I'm going to say it this way. I came from Snow Hill, North Carolina, raised by my grandmother, went on to serve our country in the Air Force, moved back home to make a difference, and ran for office in my hometown, was elected mayor, reelected, went to the state senate 12 years, and I would say now serving in the House of Representatives from the tobacco fields of eastern North Carolina to the halls of Congress. I'm honored to be able to represent North Carolina's first congressional district. And I can definitely say for me, this has been all about service, how we can go in, look at policy, find solutions to help families to live better lives. So thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to come on and just share with everyone that's joining us tonight.
Great to have you. So I know one of the things we wanted to ask you about is what does it mean to you to be a forwardist and to be part of this movement of trying to find some representation? I think everyone on this call is, we're excited and joyful and proud of the work we're doing, but we're also realistic. Things have become, toxic, frankly, in so many cases. But by you helping with our effort and representing the idea of a third party that could bring some balance, if you could tell us, what attracted you to the message?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I think about my grandmother who raised me on a whole lot of wisdom. She'd only gone to high school, but she had a vision of her kids going to college. I'm second generation. But my grandmother would always say, be kind, respectful, look for the good in others. There's some good in everybody. Now, I must admit to my friends here, the Ford Party, that sometimes it can be challenging. You have to look a little deeper. But I do believe it's how we're able to carry ourselves. It is about looking at the core, the values. What are those things that drive us that we really believe in, that can bring us to the table in a real way, that's going to help families. And the Ford Party, it's not about the parties, it's not about the labels, it's about the policy, it's about the principle, it's about how we're able to help families, how we are able to help our community, how we're able to help our country. Another thing when I think about, why affiliate with so many incredible individuals here, for me, it's about being pragmatic and actually, looking at policy in a real way. I mean, when I think about the first congressional district of North Carolina, President Trump won North Carolina's first district, and Don Davis won North Carolina's first district. What that means to me is In many ways, right now, people are just frustrated. They're frustrated for many different reasons with the process. They see that government is broken, that the parties, political parties, are not working for them. And they want to know that there's individuals that see them, that understand their value, that's going to show up and that's going to really think about their stories, their situations now when they're looking at policies that's going to impact all of us. So being pragmatic, and I'm so proud to say that we've worked so hard. Many have looked at us and said, "Hey, we've received high rankings from these nonpartisan groups that said, hey, I mean, showing up every day, trying to work in a civil way, but ultimately trying to get to um, solutions, policy solutions." And then the other thing that I think is so important here is we absolutely must reject the vision. We see it all the time, especially, and both parties have done it. And I've said this, I've been out, I'm on the road talking to constituents moving across 22 counties here in eastern North Carolina. But here's the thing, so many people have felt left out of the process because they see the parties just throwing bombs at each other, just attacking each other nonstop for many different reasons. And I think people are just kind of fed up and sick and tired of it. So to come together with like minds, those who understand all of this, wow, I mean, that's why I'm here, and that's why I'll continue to be a part and just engage as much as possible, ultimately working to make life better for our residents. So thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, no, it's that's awesome. And you talk about fairness and representation, and there's so many disenfranchised voters, not just in District One, but across the country. And gerrymandering's in the national news. And as you know, part of the foundation of the Forward Party is electoral reforms. An issue like gerrymandering, it's in our state, sure, it's the Republicans taking advantage of the situation they're in, but there's Democrats taking advantage of it, and Democrats used to in the old days in North Carolina. And you've been a victim of gerrymandering. I mean, you look at the most recent maps and the changes, and but I've always been so impressed by you and your work, and you've been voted as one of the most bipartisan members of Congress. So it shows, that you really are part of, the values that we're trying to represent. We've got a few more minutes of your time, if you don't mind. Just a little bit more of a follow-up, from the national perspective. We're so engrossed in the day-to-day local politics of North Carolina because part of our values are ground up and working with local elected officials and county commissioners and mayors and building our network. But you being a U.S. congressman and being in D.C. And being as bipartisan as you are, how do you see the idea if when we have a viable third party that can represent this moderate middle majority? For me, it's exciting, right? But how do you see where, again, and it wouldn't take, as Andrew will probably talk about the fulcrum effect later, but if we had a handful of people that could kind of control that middle balance, how do you see that possibly impacting and improving some of the policies across the country?
Absolutely. Let me go back to this. I remember this last election, I was talking to a nurse who had been very active in the labor space, and the nurses just said to me, "Hey, I don't know. I'm not planning to vote." And I'm like, I mean, help me understand. I mean, this person has been very politically active in North Carolina politics and very active, and basically said to me that I keep doing this year in and year out. I feel that nothing is happening. I'm losing hope in all of this. Why even show up? This is not an uninformed person. This is actually the contrary, very informed person, been very active and engaged, and has just given up on the process. I believe there are a lot of people out there, often who have been engaged and they want to engage, but they feel they have nowhere to go. They don't quite know who to trust, who to believe. They see us, for instance, I was going to mention this before, reconciliation. Both parties have done this. They go, instead of come to the table, and I really feel this way to everyone, why not just put us all in a room, lock us up, and say, figure it out? And truly, a lot of the policy solutions are not too complicated. We make them more complicated than what they are, more complex. And I just feel, get us all in the room, but instead of doing that, what we often see is run to our corners, cut deals with each other internally, and then come back and throw the bomb and attack the other side. We have to have a new model. People see through this. We have to see more authenticity in our politics. People see through all of this. And to me, Patrick, to the point that you're making and raising is to have a home and a place that people feel that they can come to and turn to, have intellectual conversations, emotional conversations, real conversations, get to real answers. I really believe that I have confidence and I'm not giving up in hope in this process. And that's what I see that the fourth party is able to do, and just provide, if anything, encouragement, inspiration, aspiration for so many who really want to engage in our government, in this experiment of called democracy and representative. Um, Representative politics through the republic. So I really believe that this is a great place and a great space for those who are encouraged. And sometimes I would even say, my experiences now, you see the far left, the far right, and a lot of times you have the silent majority that's just in the middle. um, People are not looking to wake up to be divisive, but just really to do the hard work, the heavy lifting, and help communities to improve. And sometimes, that's overshadowed, or it feels that way because all of the attacking that's going on. So I truly believe that in the midst of all of this, there's definitely space and place for so many right now.
Well, thank you, Congressman. Appreciate it, and just so proud to have you part of this effort, and appreciate all the work that you're doing for us. I know you've got a busy schedule, so we'll let you run, but appreciate you carving out some time tonight.
No, it's my honor. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick, for your leadership. Thank you for all those who are joining in tonight. I mean, you don't have to, but it's worth it. We're not giving up. Take care.
All right. Thank you, sir.